Good morning. It's a very drizzly, windy, turbulent day today. After yesterday's rains, it's more of the same. Feels quite stormy, but I think turbulent day for a turbulent mind. Still feeling quite stressed over work and how to navigate the uncertainties of our industry. It's kind of like the long-term fatigue, if anything I can think of, in terms of since the strikes last year. The rain's kicking in a bit more. And the strikes have had, the strikes have been and gone and been resolved, but the effects of the strikes are still affecting the industry, and it's causing so much uncertainty at this point for those in the VFX industry, because the visual effects happens after the filming, and the filming hasn't really kicked off since the strikes returned. So there's only a very small trickle of stuff going through compared to what it was like last year, which I think was an artificial inflation. So it was unrealistic and probably non-sustainable during the COVID times. I consider myself very fortunate in the fact, because it was that probably got me into the industry back when COVID hit. I was reflecting on it. I didn't start in the visual effects industry until I was 44 of all times. A bit of a digression in my path, I guess, because when I was 17 watching Jurassic Park, I was like, that's what I want to do, and it took me another 30 years before I actually navigated my way to actually working in the industry. And I think that because of COVID, because of the need for a lot of artists, and even though mine wasn't in a direct field, it was related, so I was able to leverage that and get into the industry. So I consider myself very fortunate for that bubble. Doubly so fortunate because I'm still in the industry despite mass layoffs here, there and everywhere. I feel like I'm holding on by a thread, and with that comes, I guess, a certain amount of survivor's guilt. I still do have a job, which I'm very thankful for, but that doesn't stop the uncertainty. That doesn't stop the feeling that it could all collapse at any one moment. I feel like everyone is hanging on by a thread. There's so many people still out of work, looking for work, and have been out of work for months, coming even to a year for some people. And it's incredibly draining on your sort of well-being. I think to think of it as kind of, you go to a job and exchange your time for money, and so with that you kind of have a certain expectation of a certain modicum of certainty. It's never obviously going to be dead certain, but the way it is at the moment, it feels very precarious, and that uncertainty ripples through, and that uncertainty, because it's continued for so long, it takes its toll. It's the war of attrition. And there's times when it comes in waves where, like just now, it's just kind of, okay, when's this going to end? When are we going to feel like we can just, concentrate on getting our work done and make cool stuff and entertain people with, fantastic effects, which is the whole reason why I got into this industry. It's the reason why I do what I do, is because I love to entertain and to be part of a project where we're creating cool stuff and people can watch a film and go, oh yeah, that's amazing, look at that, and to contribute to that thing is what I do, why I do what I do. And that's kind of being hampered by this underlying stress that's always there. Okay, is this project going to be the last project? How much longer are you going to be on this one for? When you're going to go over to another project? What's that project going to be? Are there even any other projects? And those are answers I don't have, because I'm not I'm not, higher up in the business, and I'm not out there getting the work, but it's just more of a feeling than anything else. And you look on Reddit, you look on LinkedIn, and you get a sense of, where other people are at. Perhaps maybe there's a slight amount of echo chamber to that, because obviously feeds are tailored towards your interests and things, and so you do wonder if there is a certain amount of lack of clarity because you're focusing on the negative, maybe. I don't know, but what it does result in is this feeling of uncertainty that's still going on. It's still, we've got the IATSE strikes, potentially the talks they're having now, that I think is holding off the film companies from really committing to lots of projects. And I think because of the industry, not just the film industry, but like all companies, tech companies as a whole, they seem to be cutting back, like the games industry, reductions and things like that. And so I think there's probably a lesser spend on movies and TV shows, or there's less, there's more aversion to risk, shall we say, because you look at, I think during COVID time, they probably just threw money at the situation and go, okay, look, here's, we got to get content out for the masses who are all stuck at home. And I think that's what triggered a whole boom in the industry. And now we're feeling the sort of like the house of cards collapsing slightly on that side. It's going to get a bit noisy because I'm getting close to the weir now. It's just over there behind. It's a nice high viewpoint up here. You get to see it, but I think that just kind of feeling of it being sort of uncertain and not knowing when things will become more stable. It's always been a turbulent industry, always. So maybe it's the wrong industry to wish for stability, but I'm hoping to get a good 10 more years out of it, at least. I don't know when I'm going to retire, probably never, but I want to be able to do this for as long as I possibly can, because this is the entertaining. I mean, World of Warcraft TV series would be the chef's kiss on my career. If I could do that, that would be amazing. I'm really sort of getting hyped up with the whole Fallout TV series coming out next week, and I love working on that, and I'd love to work on more things like that. It's an evolving process because I don't necessarily get to talk or choose projects I work on. I can just sort of some of that's out of your hands. You can, I guess the best I can do. There's another thing I saw on LinkedIn yesterday was talking about invest in yourself, not in the company, which certainly holds true. Do your passion projects alongside your work if you can. I know I say that as advice, and it's hard to do. As an example, I haven't done that in the past couple of weeks. Is those have fallen by the wayside. But those are the things, those little things that you can add into your portfolio. Yeah, I'm really interested in this. This is what I love doing. Those will get you the jobs on the projects that are related to the things that you love doing. Because when it all comes down to interviews and things like that, companies will be looking, they'll have a project in mind and they'll have someone they're looking to fill that role. And so if you've got something on your portfolio that matches what they want, so say for example, it's like I love doing trees, and I've got a portfolio of work where I've got all these trees and things, and they can see that, then I'm likely to get a job doing that kind of thing because they can see that as an example of my work. So that's the kind of thing that is more sort of like driven by passion, driven by your personal projects. And I think that's why it's a very tricky balance between working for companies and doing your own thing and trying to retain your sense of identity, your sense of purpose, and what's important to you. There was a great video by Jack Conte, I think it is, the founder of Patreon, and he was talking about the fragmentation of the internet and and how the follower model is kind of being eroded by all the YouTube and the TikToks going for the wider reach, the wider audience, and for those there's a lack of cohesion for a collective place to gather your super fans, the people who are really into what you do, and you can get together as a community and share those things. That kind of reminds me, or that's how I think about all the different passion things I'm doing. It's almost like a club of like, yeah, I'm into this, I'm into this, I'm into this, I like these things, and I want to share them with you and be on that journey and collect all those people together and have cool and inspiring conversations about it. And I don't know where I'm going with this conversation, but it's that sense of passion and purpose, I think, which kind of reminds me, to drive forward in terms of what I'm doing and where I'm going, and in uncertain times like this, it kind of does give a good opportunity to reflect on this and think, okay, well, what the hell am I doing? Where am I going? What's next? What sort of sense of agency am I going to have on this? I'm not going to just, okay, let's not just sit and wallow in this and go, oh no, it's terrible. But actually, okay, well, what can I do about it? I think this roundabout way has kind of like solidified my own thoughts. I feel a sense of, okay, well, there are certain things I can't control, and logically I can look at that, even with the uncertainty, and say, okay, well, that'll happen is what's going to happen. Obviously, we need money, we need food on the table, we need to support family, and all those things that are important to me as my values. But also, what can I do about it? What agency and what purpose can I add to this, and where can I point the direction of my catapult and slingshot me into the next thing? Who knows? It's kind of where my brain's at the moment. Certainly, I didn't think coming out here and talking about it would help clarify my thoughts, but it has, which is nice. I do feel like, well, there are things I can almost sense as next steps. I got a gauge as to what I would want to do next, which is obviously a World of Warcraft TV series would be absolutely amazing. So what can I do about that? Well, what I've been doing with my plans for this Elwyn Forest thing, showcase that. Do your personal projects. Who knows what might come of it. But if I don't do it, I don't have anything to show for it, and the opportunities won't be there because they'll slide past me, and Weta will get the job, and they'll be doing all the cool orcs like they did with the Warcraft movie, and I'll be like, oh, I wish I was doing those. But if I don't do the thing to get me in the place to do the thing, then I'm not saying I want to go to Weta. That's a complete other side of the world, and much as I love the thought of New Zealand, I think that would be a bit too much at the wrong time, really, in my life. I think that's where I've kind of need to focus, really, is okay, what can I do about this? Where's my agency? And what can't I do about it? And what do I just have to let go? And there's no point worrying about it, and we'll just do what we can with what we've got, with the time I've got, because obviously mortality and everything, you never know when this is going to end. I'm turning 50 this year, starting to feel my age a little bit, not only in the sort of like industry, but just in general. So, and I'm kind of thinking about, okay, so what do I want to do? What is my, what's next? And I think that's where That's where my mental head's headed. I love trees, I love environments. Let's do those as a passion project. Let's pull it together. Let's see where that little exploration leads, and carry on with my work, do the best job possible during my contracted hours, and hopefully stay in the job for as long as I can. Certain things will be out of my control, and that's just how it's going to have to be. And if things do change, I'll have to adapt quite quickly. Like getting stuck in this mud, which is really, really thick. There's so much rain at the moment. I'm looking forward to when it gets a bit drier. The bluebells will be coming out here soon. That's going to be awesome. You've got the inklings of spring, but we're still in the rough and turbulent weather at the moment. So good weather's ahead. I'm looking forward to filming all this when it's in full bloom and you've got dappled sunlight coming through rather than the rain. So I hope I haven't depressed you too much with my stresses and worries. It's a natural factor of life. Not everything is rosy and positive at all times, despite what the internet might try and convey in terms of toxic positivity. I've been not a victim of that. I've been how do I say it? I've been affected by that for a long time, and so I'm very conscious of it. So reality is, not all days are lovely and glorious, and sometimes it's turbulent, but getting out here, getting my thoughts together has certainly helped. So spend some time outdoors, enjoy your loved ones, and I'll see you very soon.